If you are an older adult and you are seeking to strengthen your lower extremities, specifically your glutes, this is the right place. This exercise video today is geared towards a beginner. So someone who's just trying to start the process of building up the strength. So these will be simplified and modified to make them a little bit easier. The first exercise we're going to do is to help the gluteus medius. I want you to find a countertop or a chair or something you can hang on to first of all. Because if you don't hang on to something, these will challenge your balance. And if you're a beginner, you don't want to do that quite yet. It's a simple exercise though. It's standing, tall posture, hips aligned, feet together, and you're just going to kick one leg out and bring it back in. Kick one leg out and bring it back in. As you kick it out, I want you to really focus on trying to kind of squeeze that glute muscle. It might be hard to feel that feeling. If you can't feel it, just go out and in. Something that's important as a beginner with this exercise is you don't want to just kick them fast. If you kick them fast, momentum kind of does a lot of the work. You want the muscle to really contract all the way up and all the way down. So don't just let the leg flop back down. For a beginner, just bring the foot back to the floor, up and back to the floor, and up, back to the floor. You don't want to push yourself too hard at first. This should not cause a lot of soreness or pain. You might feel a little bit of soreness in the muscles or muscle burn when they work, and then maybe a little soreness the next day or two, but it shouldn't be severe. It should be mild soreness, if any at all. As a beginner, you want to just got to get your feet wet. You don't want to go crazy at first. The next exercise is just kicking back. Again, hang onto a chair, hang onto a countertop. I found that a sink is great because you can kind of grab hold of the sink. And the next one is just kicking straight back and straight back. Remember, you want to do both sides with these exercises. I'm just showing one side here, but just kind of kick that back and bring it back. When you're doing these kicking motions, it's not important to go very far. It would be better to kick and come back with good posture than to cheat like so. I've seen people do this. They feel like they're doing a great job with the exercise, but really they're cheating. They're compensating by bringing that trunk forward. I want you to really focus on hip movement, not trunk movement. So you're going straight back and back. Rest for a second, straight back, and rest for a second. Remember, slow motions, all the way back, all the way forward, just nice and easy. The next one we're going to do, again, will help the glutes, but this helps the overall lower extremities. In front of a chair or sink again, with a chair behind you, we're going to work on sit-to-stands. I want you to slowly sit. Try to use your legs as much as possible. This can be difficult. A lot of people compensate a lot with their arms, which as a beginner is okay. You're just getting used to using these legs to push up and let yourself down slowly. So you can kind of pull yourself and you can kind of slowly let yourself down with the arms, but try to push through the legs the best you can. I want this to be a slow, methodical movement. Only do a few repetitions for each of these exercises. I don't want you to push into the 20 reps, 30 reps if you're a beginner. Start with just a handful. See how you feel. If it wasn't too bad, the next day add a few more. This includes the sit-to-stand exercise. Up and down. If you find that this is challenging as a beginner, I've got a little tip for you. Use a foam or a pillow. That brings you up a little bit so you're not fighting quite so much gravity. It's a great modification for someone who's a beginner. Again, use your arms to pull a little bit. Try to push through your legs the best you can. And advice I usually give to all my patients is nose over your toes. So you're going to lean forward a little bit so your nose is in line with your knees or your toes there, and up. When you go back down, slow down, same position. Notice my nose is a little bit forward and down. Very good. After having done these standing exercises, we're going to progress or change to some lying exercises. So join me at the table. Whoa! I made it. Thanks for joining me on the table. Sometimes I think I'm funny in these videos. Really, I know I'm not, but I've tried to be a little bit entertaining. But the first exercise we're going to do here, simplified exercise, is going to be a bridge. First of all, we're going to talk about positioning. Number one position, do it from your bed. You don't have to get down on the floor. You're a beginner. You're just trying to get started with some exercises to get stronger. So don't stress out about getting up and down from the floor. Start on your bed. Second, you're laying on your back. You are going to keep your knees about hip width apart, okay? Hip, shoulder, kind of same region. And same with your feet. Your feet should essentially be in line. Your feet are not together. Your feet are not out. But essentially your legs are creating one straight line. You're going to do a lift. As you lift, come back down. You can hold if you're able. Notice the bend in my knee. It's not way up. It's not way down. If the knee is way down like that, that stresses the hamstring a lot. We're actually trying to work the glutes. So you want that to be more kind of a neutral or middle position, essentially. Not way bent, not way straight, but kind of in the middle. You're going to lift those hips up, tighten up those glutes, hold if you can, come back down. Again, up, I'm keeping in line, and back down. If you find that this is painful on your back, or you find that it's difficult to actually lift all the way up, just try to smash your feet into the bed and back down. So it's like you're about to lift and then stop and back down. So that's a modification you can do to make this exercise a little bit easier. Kind of up and down that way. Very good. If you can't quite go all the way up and it's too easy to just kind of push through the bed, do a half rep. Up and down. Up and down. These exercises are meant to be easy and simple to get you going, okay? The next exercise we're going to do is from a side lying position, meaning you're laying on your side. Simple enough. Come here. You'll notice the position I'm in, my knees are bent. My torso is straight. It's almost the same position. I'm coming from this position, and I'm just getting in that position from my side. I want you to really focus on where your belly button is pointing, where your hip bone is pointing. If it's pointing more upwards, you're going to be compensating during the exercise. If it's pointing more downwards, you're going to do well with this exercise. So I'll explain that as we go. This top leg now, you're going to straighten it. I want you to keep the foot pointed a little bit more downward as opposed to up. If I point that foot up, my hip automatically starts to rotate. If I do these leg lifts from right here with my hip rotated, I'm working the hip flexor, the muscle on the front of the hip. We're not going for the hip flexor. We're going for the glute. So you want to point that toe a little bit down. I like to think of it like, it's like you're laying on your side and you're thinking about rolling to your belly. Don't actually do it, but you're considering it. So it's like you're kind of rolling towards the front. I imagine if the belly button was shooting a laser, it would kind of be shooting kind of more towards the floor, okay? Or if your hip bone was a laser, you're shooting kind of downwards. And then you're going to lift that leg up. We're not cheerleaders. We're beginners. We're trying to build some strength. You don't have to kick that leg way up. Matter of fact, you'd be cheating anyways if you did that. So it's just a little lift. Just a little lift. Right there. Make sure you're not rolling though. If you're rolling like this, you're compensating. There's no way you're doing the exercise correctly. So try to keep track of where those hips are at. Sometimes I've had people, if they have their bed up against a wall or something, they'll put their hips against the wall to try to avoid rolling. You don't have to do that, but it's just a thought. If this exercise is too hard to really lift up, and you can't even really get anywhere with that, try getting back in that knee bent position. Keep your heels together and then just lift that top knee. This is kind of a modification to get that glute going a little bit easier. Again, you don't want to be rolling. Rolling is just causing compensation. It's not getting the right muscle. It's really just momentum doing the most of the work. So keep the heels together. Lift that knee up and down. Very good. If you find that these side-lying exercises are just too much, you can actually just sit, put a belt around your knees or a band, like that band right there, and just push out into the belt. It's kind of that same motion of the clam, right? Push out into the band. Even if you're not getting a lot of motion out of it, just push, kind of feel the muscle strain a little bit, and relax. Push out into that band and relax. The idea with these exercises is to be simple. Excuse me. We're not trying to overdo it so that you're sore for days on end. I don't want you to wake up tomorrow morning and think I can't get out of bed because I'm too sore. If you're doing that, you're doing too much. I want you to start with each of these exercises with just a few reps. Please just take it slow. Don't go quick at first. Just do a few reps. And then tomorrow, if you did a few reps and tomorrow you feel like, hey, I don't feel too bad. I feel just fine. Increase it a little bit. Add on 2 or 3 reps. Or if you start getting where you're doing 10 or 15 reps, you can check out some of my other videos to check out some of the progressions to make the exercises harder. But again, you're just a beginner. Start out nice and light. Don't push yourself too hard. And number 1, be safe. Don't put yourself in a situation where you're going to be compromised and cause a fall, especially with those standing exercises. Hang on to something. Don't do something dumb and have a fall. If you are finding this video to be helpful and you want to check me out on another one of my videos, check out these links here. I hope to see you there. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments below. I try to answer them when I can. This video is an answer to a comment, and I will catch you next time.